I was diagnosed with ADHD.
Diagnosis was like anorexia, bulimia, self-harm, poly substance abuse, kind of a long list of stuff that tie into that.
And she said, I think he's bipolar, or maybe bipolar. I said, what is that? I had no idea. And then she attached the words, it's a mental illness.
Well, when I was using drugs, like I didn't sleep and I was getting really good grades because I was up all night exercising, studying and stuff. But then detoxing when I'm like, wow, I have a problem. I should stop snorting cocaine. I should stop smoking crack, you know. Like detoxing from that, I was just in bed for days, like sick. I just wanted to die. I felt so sick with the withdrawals, but I didn't tell anyone, you know. I just kind of called in sick to life, basically. Cutting started like when I was, well, I had a really traumatic event. Like I was raped, and cutting was my outlet for that. Like I just had so much anger inside me. Like I'd cut several times a day. I cut at school. I'd be in the bathroom with like a pair of scissors trying to just feel better. It was just a numbing sensation. One time I wrapped my body in saran wrap and like put on snow clothes. It was 2 in the morning and I went running so I could sweat, and then like I went in the bathroom and I had the heater on and I was doing sit-ups in like all these clothes, and somehow I passed out from like the heat exhaustion and I woke up on the floor. I'm like, oh my God, I have to go to school now. Like that was insane. I mean, being all alone, doing that kind of stuff, and like abusing drugs to lose weight. I definitely think people don't want to admit that they're crazy, like to get help. I mean, that's the first step, I guess, and that's a big deal. You're like, okay, I'm doing this and it's not right. Like I understand that this is messed up, like I shouldn't be doing this. No one wants to say that, I mean.
Since I didn't know at the time, like beginning of high school, that I had ADHD until I was like, till I was a junior. So my freshman year, my sophomore year kind of went downhill. And I always said you could put me into a room, like this room that we're in right now, be quiet with, you know, the table, a test, and a pencil by myself, and I'll get lost. Like I'll just wander off. I'll think of little stories here and there. You know, daydream. You know, incident that took place was I was suicidal. So my thing was I fell into a deep depression. If I was to see movies and I see somebody commit or try to attempt suicide, I was like, that's done. Like, why do you do that for? All you gotta do is talk to somebody. But I learned that unless you're in that situation or you're put into that particular situation, you're not gonna know what that person's feeling, or you're not gonna know the other side of the line.
There was actually a very defining moment. From the time he was about 8 or 9, I started noticing that he would get anxiety attacks in the store, and he kept saying the lights would bother him, and then he would get very agitated and then suddenly very sleepy. At one point, he was homeless, and because my husband, his stepfather, did not believe in mental illness, and let alone that our son had a mental illness. He said he's just lazy, you know, he wants to sleep all day, he's just doing drugs, he's a drug addict, and I don't want him in my house, and we can't keep him. So at that point my son looked at me and he said, see, nobody cares, and I'm never going to get well.
In general, if you contact your local hospital, they can direct you to your community mental health center.
For teenagers, there's several really good, both national and local self, help talk helplines where you can call suicide lines, things like that.
If someone thinks they're having a mental illness, what I would want to do first, which is what I think people do anyways, find somebody they think they can trust. Somebody that might know a little bit about where to get help, or a little bit about maybe what they're going through, and they won't judge them.
Seek help, like just to even like off on your friends, try to talk to your friends just to see like this isn't normal, you know, have someone help you to understand what's going on.
But think going to a therapist is, you know, you hear therapists like, oh, you know, that's bad, isn't it? It's not. You know, I thought it was bad to begin with. Like, I don't want to go, you know, I don't need nobody knowing what I feel or how I feel. But once I actually went to experience it and got stuff off my chest, it was a lot better. I was able to go home, relax, talk to my parents a lot more, you know, be open with certain things, and it just helps, you know, having somebody to talk to and having them tell you, you know what, it's, you know, it's patience, you know, it's going to take some time for you to get to the, it's going to take some time for you to get to a place that you want to be, where you want to be at, where you're happy and you feel good, and it does, that's all it is time.
Your friends, therapists, exercise, lots of community, not isolating. I think those are all helpful treatments. Sometimes you need one more than the other, and sometimes exercise is just not enough, and you might need medication or therapy in addition. But I think there's lots of places for help. I wouldn't give up. I would pursue and ask and keep looking. I also think schools are a good place to get help and get referrals.
You know, I was always afraid that if I opened up, letting people know that, you know, I have ADHD, they're like, oh, you know, we want to kick it with you, this and that. It was opposite. It was like, you know, I was even more in, you know, in the activities that we had. I was even more part of it, and we messed around even a lot more. But you gotta have a little bit more faith in people.
My outlet was like writing. I wrote a novel. I haven't published it yet, but I did write it. And like running, you know, just to try and get that like negativeness out of me. And lately my outlet's been like driving. Like I drive, you know, I'm in college right now, so I drive all the way back home, and I take like the windy road with the no cell service and put the windows down, listen to music, and I just process thoughts. Kind of helps.
Education is the key here. If you don't know about something, it's easier to be afraid of it, or to ignore it, or to make fun of it. The advice I would give to parents is to not give up seeking help for their child. To find out as much as you can, and to work with the medical professionals, to work with whomever is engaged in your child's life, with the schools, the therapists, the doctors, whomever is involved at the time, to work as a unit. And you can do that more effectively when you educate yourself.
To all those people who, I'm not even saying people, to all these young people who are struggling with those answers about, am I normal, am I abnormal, all those people that are struggling with these thoughts or sounds that are in their heads, that they may feel sometimes control them. For all those young people who will seek satisfaction in pinching themselves or cutting themselves or burning themselves, and those urges are there, I ask that you tell somebody. I ask that you talk to somebody, find a teacher, find a police officer, find a counselor, find your best friend's mother, write it in a letter, put it on Facebook. Someone can help you. There's help there.